The studio lights were blindingly bright, casting a cool, sterile glow over Song Weilong as he settled into his chair for what was supposed to be a routine, relaxing live stream with his millions of fans. For years, he had navigated the hyper-controlled world of celebrity with practiced ease, always knowing how to smile, what to say, and how to keep a polite boundary between his public persona and his private heart. Tonight, however, the air in the room felt different, charged with a strange and unpredictable tension that even he couldn't quite explain. He had started the broadcast casually, chatting about his latest drama shoot, the grueling hours on set, and the endless cups of iced coffee that kept him going through the night shifts. Fans flooded the chat box with heart emojis, sweet messages, and eager questions about his upcoming projects, completely unaware of the emotional storm that was about to break. As the minutes ticked by, Song Weilong's casual demeanor began to shift into something far more contemplative, his eyes occasionally drifting away from the camera lens to stare intently at the floor. The witty comebacks and easy smiles slowed down, replaced by long, heavy pauses that made the virtual chat room grow uncomfortably quiet as viewers sensed a sudden change in his mood. It was as if a heavy weight was pressing down on his chest, demanding to be released after months, or perhaps years, of quiet endurance behind closed doors. He cleared his throat softly, a nervous habit he always fell back on when he was feeling vulnerable, and ran a hand through his carefully styled hair before looking directly back into the camera. The silence in the studio grew so profound that you could almost hear the faint hum of the computer equipment in the corner, amplifying the gravity of the moment that was rapidly approaching. "Everyone," he began, his voice dropping an octave lower than usual, carrying a raw, unpolished sincerity that instantly sent a ripple of anxiety through his core fanbase. "There is something I want to say tonight, and I need you all to hear it directly from me, without any filters, rumors, or agency press releases standing in the middle." The chat box stopped scrolling for a split second, a rare phenomenon for an idol with his massive following, before exploding into a chaotic cascade of question marks and worried inquiries. Fans immediately sensed that this wasn't going to be a normal promotional chat, and the collective anticipation across the internet reached a fever pitch in a matter of seconds. Song Weilong took a deep, shuddering breath, his chest rising and falling as he gathered every ounce of courage he possessed to cross a line from which there would be no turning back. "For a long time, my life has belonged to everyone else, to the cameras, to the scripts, to the expectations of millions of people who think they know who I am. But lately, I've realized that living behind a wall of manufactured perfection is slowly draining the life out of the person I actually am." He smiled faintly, though there was a profound sadness lingering in the corners of his eyes, a stark reminder of the immense pressures that famous actors face every single day. "I've always tried to be honest with you, even when the industry told me to hide things, to protect the illusion, and to pretend that my heart doesn't exist outside of my work." The atmosphere in the live stream became almost suffocating as viewers realized the direction the conversation was taking, bracing themselves for an announcement that could change his career forever. "Tonight, I don't want to hide anymore," he whispered, his gaze unwavering as he locked eyes with the camera lens, speaking directly to each and every person watching from behind a screen. "I want to tell you the truth, because you deserve to know the real me, not just the character you see on television," he continued, his hands resting flat on the desk in front of him. "I am not alone anymore, and haven't been for a while now, because someone special managed to find her way past all my defenses." With those few simple words, the bomb dropped, sending shockwaves through the virtual space and instantly paralyzing the chat room as people tried to process what they had just heard. Song Weilong had just admitted, live and unscripted, that he was in a committed relationship, shattering the untouchable single idol persona that entertainment agencies guarded with absolute ferocity. Before the production staff off-camera could even process what was happening or think about cutting the feed, Song Weilong kept talking, driven by a sudden, unstoppable need to unburden his soul. "She is someone who understands the chaos of this industry, someone who stands beside me in the quiet moments when the cameras are turned off and the applause has faded away." He didn't mention her name immediately, but the collective intuition of millions of internet sleuths and dedicated fans was already working at lightning speed to connect the dots. The entertainment world thrives on speculation, and when an A-list actor drops a confession this massive, the past puzzle pieces of his life naturally begin to rearrange themselves in the public eye. Within seconds, the name of Zhao Jinmai began appearing in the chat box, whispered at first by a few observant fans before spreading like wildfire across the entire live stream. The connection between Song Weilong and Zhao Jinmai wasn't entirely random. they had shared screens, mutual circles, and undeniable on-screen chemistry that had long fueled passionate shipping communities online. As the name Zhao Jinmai flooded the screen faster than any human could read, Song Weilong's facial expression shifted slightly, a subtle flicker of surprise crossing his features at how quickly the public guessed her identity. He hadn't planned on dropping her name so explicitly, but the sheer velocity of the internet made keeping secrets almost impossible in this digital age. The mention of Zhao Jinmai acted like fuel on an already raging fire, turning a simple celebrity relationship confession into a massive, industry-shaking event that dominated every major social media platform instantly. Weibo servers began to stutter under the sudden influx of traffic as millions of users rushed to search for her name alongside his, desperate to find any crumb of confirmation. For Zhao Jinmai, who had built a pristine reputation as a talented, dedicated actress known for her quiet professionalism and deeply emotional performances, this sudden storm came completely out of nowhere. She was miles away, perhaps resting after a long day of filming her own projects, entirely unaware that her name had just been thrust into the epicenter of a massive media earthquake. Back in the live stream, Song Weilong looked at the scrolling sea of messages chanting Zhao Jinmai's name, realizing that the Pandora's box he had opened could never be closed again. He didn't confirm her name with a loud declaration, but his silence, combined with a knowing, gentle smile, spoke volumes louder than any spoken word ever could. The internet erupted into an immediate state of total polarization, with some fans weeping over the shattered illusion of their favorite single idol while others screamed in pure excitement. Shipping culture had won the ultimate victory, and the thought of Song Weilong and Zhao Jinmai being a real-life couple was too intoxicating for the romantic masses to handle. Social media feeds were instantly flooded with old compilation videos of the two actors interacting at award shows, dissecting every shared glance, polite smile, and subtle body language cue. Fans acted like amateur detectives, pulling up old interviews, overlapping schedules, and behind-the-scenes footage to prove that the romance had been hiding in plain sight all along. Meanwhile, the management teams and public relations agencies behind both stars were undoubtedly scrambling in a state of absolute panic, trying to formulate a damage control strategy in the middle of the night. Breaking news alerts flashed across smartphones across the country, transforming a quiet evening broadcast into the most talked about entertainment story of the year. Song Weilong remained seated at his desk, watching the chaos unfold on his monitor with a strange sense of calm, knowing that there was no turning back from the path he had chosen. He took another deep breath, looking less like a trapped celebrity and more like a man who had finally dropped a heavy backpack he had been carrying for years. I know this might shock some of you, and I know that the industry has its own rules about these things, but I am human first and an actor second, he said softly, addressing the backlash that was inevitably brewing online. I just wanted to be honest with the people who have supported me through thick and thin, rather than living a lie behind a public facade. The sincerity in his tone managed to quiet down even some of the most fiercely possessive fans, replacing blind anger with a complex mixture of heartbreak, respect, and curiosity. After all, watching a young man choose authenticity over corporate protection was a rare sight in the heavily sanitized world of modern Asian show business. As for Zhao Jinmai, her agency's phones were likely ringing off the hook as journalists, brand representatives, and anxious producers demanded to know the truth behind the sudden live stream explosion. Her clean, wholesome image was suddenly tied to one of the biggest romantic bombshells of the decade, shifting her career trajectory in ways that nobody could yet predict. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds where netizens debated whether idols had the right to love freely or if they owed their entire personal lives to their paying fanbase. Memes, reaction videos, and analysis threads were being generated by the thousands every minute, proving just how deeply the public cared about the private lives of these two stars. Song Weilong slowly brought the live stream to a close, realizing that prolonging the broadcast would only invite more chaos than the server in his own mind could handle. With a final, gentle wave and a soft apology to anyone he had hurt or disappointed, he clicked the end button, plunging the virtual room into sudden darkness. The screen went black, but the internet outside continued to burn with endless speculation, frantic discussions, and fierce debates about the future of Song Weilong and Zhao Jinmai. People stayed glued to their phones for hours, refreshing news feeds and waiting for official statements from either studio to see how this dramatic chapter would unfold. Industry insiders whispered about the potential commercial impact on their upcoming endorsement deals, television dramas, and public appearances, wondering if the public backlash would hurt their careers or propel them to even greater fame. Power couples in the entertainment industry always faced a treacherous road, especially when forced into the spotlight by an unscripted